ZELPHA Barrett versus Jordan Gill this Saturday. Jordan Gill, 28-2-1-9 inside the distance, 29 years of age. ZELPHA Barrett, 30-2-0 with 16 inside the distance, 30 years of age. ZELPHA, fighting in front of the Manchester Arena crowd, his hometown, will be hoping to get a good turnout, and they'll be looking to put on a performance. On paper, he's the bigger puncher, although it looked like Gill was hitting harder than previously against Michael Conlan when he stopped him in an upset last year, 7 rounds. Although Conlan's punch resistance had been previously exposed by Luis Alberto Lopez and Lee Wood. But he just seemed to have a certain confidence, a certain something about him. Maybe the Ben Davison effect, and that's why I'm tentatively going to pick him for the win. I'm recommending this one. Should be a good fight. Jordan will be looking to counterpunch on the front foot and not waste much punches, pick his spots and go to work. Barrett, I believe, will be using the ring, trying to circle away from power punches and land his own whipping left hooks and get combinations off. It has the chemistry to be a very good fight. No British title, no Commonwealth, no European, no WBC, WBA, Intercontinental, Silver, whatever titles they have. Just a straight 12-rounder. Should be a good one. On the undercard, from London, Catford, the very capable and skilled 26-year-old ELLIE SCOTNEY, 8-0, no knockouts. She fights in a unification at Super Bantamweight. She is the IBF Super Bantamweight champion. She takes on the WBO Super Bantamweight champion, Ségolène ZELPHA, if that's how you pronounce, a French lady. She's 18-0, only 1 stoppage. Look out for that one. Maybe DAZN caught David Benavidez off guard. His dad Jose was training Diego Pacheco on the DAZN card, and maybe they just shoved the mic in his face unexpectedly, and apparently he was stumbling all over his words, inebriated. Probably had a few other substances in his system and all through a bit of the old Charlie and shit. But, yo, it is what it is, yeah? As long as it doesn't come up in a VADA test, it is what it is. I didn't get Boxing Scene's take on it, though. Showing accountability was an important move for the unbeaten Benavidez, 28-0, 24 inside the distance, as he seeks a bout with 4-division champion and undisputed super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez. He can't afford to give Alvarez any cause to suggest that Benavidez is an unreliable opponent. They don't make sense to me. As long as he passes his VADA tests and the sanctioning bodies deem him the most credible challenger, what the fuck's it got to do with Canelo? You know, Canelo has a history. He has a history in them P&Es, so let's not be putting Canelo up there as some saint with a flawless track record, because that's not what we're dealing with. If Eddie Hearn has to sign the likes of Deontay Wilder or Filip Bogovic to fill his quota for the heavyweight section of the 5-on-5, it says that Matchroom are a little thin on heavyweights right now. Obviously, the leading contender is Anthony Joshua, and Eddie says AJ's next fight will be for the heavyweight title. AJ currently is 28-3-0 with 25 stoppages, 34 years of age. Former twice unified champion, a huge puncher, and arguably the biggest draw in the sport. So depending on the fallout from USYK versus Fury on May the 18th, or when the IBF belt, which inevitably seems like it's going to go vacant after them 2 fight, he could be either fighting the winner out of USYK Fury or Hrgović Dubois, who will compete for that vacant IBF belt, perhaps in the 5-on-5. We'll have to wait until the 15th to get the full details of what exactly is happening in that 5-on-5. So basically, he's going to be sitting on the sidelines for a little while. I'm not sure why he's not going straight into a fight with Hrgović for the vacant belt. I'm not sure. Maybe they're just being a bit cautious, perhaps hoping that the Fury USYK winner will come off before Dubois and Hrgović. AJ is obviously Matchroom's biggest player in the heavyweight division. Although Eddie also has Johnny Fisher from Romford, London, 6'4", 11 wins, 10 inside the distance, 25 years of age. He says he wants to put him in the mix with the likes of Wardley and Fraser Clark. Is he ready for that? El Animal, Filip Bogovic, 17-0, 14 inside the distance, no losses, no draws. Croatian, 6'6". Who was he tied with? They were talking about him going back to Matchroom to take on Daniel Dubois in the 5-on-5. Last time out, he took on Mark Demore, arguably lost against Zhilei Zhang. Hasn't really impressed as a pro, in all truth. Fabio Wardley, he's ranked in most of the sanctioning bodies, top 15. He's a free agent. Fab is 29 years of age, 17-0-1 with 16 inside the distance. Fabio got a draw with Fraser Clark for the British title. Many are heralding that fight as an all-time British classic. Fraser Clark, 32 years of age. His record is now 8-0-1, 6 inside the distance. Ben Shalom is saying it's a good thing he pulled Fraser from the purse bid last year. But at the same time, he didn't win, he drew. And he's 32 years of age and he's not ranked in none of the sanctioning body organisations. So it's a coin toss whether you really did him a favour. Has he really improved that much since the withdrawal last year? I don't know. I didn't see much improvements in the Dave Allen fight and the Marius Wack fight. You could argue the 10 rounds did him good and kept him in good stead for the Fabio Woodley fight. You could argue that. Apart from Fraser Clark, boxer are pretty light in the heavyweight division in all truth. I guess if Lawrence Okoli can get past Lucas Rozansky for the Bridgerweight title, he'll move up shortly. Boxer also have Martin Bakole. I think a lot of people forget that. He's barely had any fights on there, has he? He's 15 inside the distance. BoxRec says he's 30 years of age, but I'm not sure about that. Ranked number 1 by the WBA. His name has been mentioned in a few potential fights, but I'm not sure having Billy Nelson as a manager helps his cause. Queensbury, they've got Daniel Dubois, 26 years of age, 20 wins, 19 inside the distance, 2 defeats. They've got Joe Joyce, 38 years of age, 16 wins, 2 losses, 15 inside the distance. Joe Joyce has made some bad decisions in his career. He destroyed Daniel Dubois in 2020, took his O. Daniel Dubois is fighting for the second time for a world title in the last 2 years, I believe. 2 years. Joyce is on Nathan Heaney's undercard struggling against Cash Ali. You've made some mistakes, Joe. You've made some mistakes. Queensbury have Tyson Fury, obviously the WBC champion, trying to take this next milestone in his career against USYK. Age 35, 34 wins, 24 inside the distance, 1 draw. WBC heavyweight champion. They also have Moses Atoma, 19 years of age, 8 wins, 6 inside the distance, and Daniel Dubois, who we've also mentioned. They also have David Adilier, 27 years of age, 12 wins, 11 inside the distance, 1 loss to Fabio Woodley last year. Also have Solomon Dakers, 30 years of age, from Worley, West Midlands. That's where Pat Cowdell come from. That's near Birmingham. It might actually be in Birmingham. 6'5", 8-0-0, 2 knockouts. He recently parted ways with Matchroom. He's now with Queensbury. He's the English champion. Had a controversial win last time against Michael Webster from Middlesbrough. Webster, not a bad fighter, 29 years of age. He is now 9-1-0 with 6 inside the distance. I thought he beat Solomon Dakers. To keep it real, I thought he beat him. So watch out for him. Queensbury, do they still have options on Zhang? Lost last time out to Joseph Parker, controversially in my opinion. Zhang, 40 years of age, 26 wins, 21 inside the distance, 2 defeats, 1 draw. Like I said, we've got to wait till the 15th of this month for the details on the 5 versus 5, but it could be Zhang representing Queensbury and Wilder representing Matchroom. Let's see how that goes. We've also got some veterans in the UK who are free agents. Derek Chisora. Derek, 40 years of age, 34 wins, 23 inside the distance, 13 losses. They're talking about a potential fight against Joe Joyce, perhaps in Saudi Arabia. Dillian White, he is now 35 years of age, born in Jamaica, based in Brixton or Portugal. 30 wins, 20 inside the distance, 3 losses. What's next for Dillian? Top rank, they've got a few contenders. They've got Arslanbek Makhmudov, 34 years of age, got destroyed last time out on the day of reckoning by Ajit Kabayel. 34 years of age, 18 wins, 17 inside the distance, 1 loss. He's based in Montreal, Quebec, a Russian. He looks scary, real scary, but Kabayel kind of exposed the guy pretty bad. Is there any way back into the big time? We'll see. Top rank also have Richard Torres, 6'2", 9 wins, 9 knockouts, Olympic silver medalist at super heavyweight, losing to Bakatov Jalalov. Torres also has a win in the quarterfinals of the Golden Gloves in 2017 over Jared Anderson, another top-ranked prospect. Jared is 16-0 with 15 inside the distance, 24 years of age. He takes on the Belgium heavyweight, Riyad Meri, this Saturday. Riyad, 31 years of age, 32 wins, 26 aside the distance, 2 losses. A bit of a blown-up cruiserweight. But if Jared's recent outside the ring issues become a distraction, who knows, it could be a difficult fight. Top rank also of Efe Ajagba, 29 years of age, 6'6", 85-inch reach, 19 wins, 14 inside the distance, 1 loss. They also have Bakatov Jalalov, 6'7", 14-0, 14 inside the distance, 29 years of age. Olympic gold medalist. They might have actually the strongest potential on their roster, Top Rank. Being honest, if you look at their roster, they've actually built for the future. They've got strong young prospects / contenders. Joseph Parker, he's one of the leading contenders right now. 35, 3-0, 32 years of age, 23 inside the distance. I believe Joe's a free agent. He's a resident of Morecambe, Lancashire, basically next door neighbours with Tyson Fury. But he's representing New Zealand. Then obviously you got the PBC heavyweights. Deontay Wilder, 38 years of age, 43 wins, 42 inside the distance, 3 losses, 1 draw. He's still the leading PBC guy. But he's getting on. Lost last time out to Joe Parker. 1 win since 2019. 1 win in his last 4 fights. Luis Ortiz, he's got nothing slated with the PBC. He's getting on. He's around 45 years of age. Some say older. Wouldn't argue with that. He's currently 34, 3-0, 29 inside the distance. Andy Ruiz, what's happened with Andy? I mean, this guy was a hot ticket for the PBC. Hasn't fought since, I believe, September 2022 against Luis Ortiz when he won a 12-rounder. 2 fights in the last 5 years. Am I reading correctly? 34 years of age, not that old. What's happening with Andy? I think that second Saudi bag for the AJ rematch has took his desire. He's just living on easy street, and if that's the case, so be it. But we're talking about a former unified heavyweight champion. He's only 34. His record is 35-0, 22 inside the distance. Still has a very good record. He's only lost in world title fights to Joseph Parker and Anthony Joshua, who are 2 of the leading contenders right now. What's this guy playing at? Frank Sanchez. Is he still with the PBC? It looks like he escaped as well. He's getting that Saudi bag. He's fighting Ajit Kabayel on the Fury USYK undercard. He's 31 years of age, 24-0, 17 inside the distance. Ajit Kabayel, based in Germany, he's 24-0. He's 31 years of age, just like Frank Sanchez, and he's got 16 wins inside the distance. It's a very evenly matched fight, that there. You know what I mean? Kabayel's promoter in Germany is Alf Steinforth. Alexander Usyk, I don't think so much a free agent. He signed something with the Saudi-based Skills Challenge outfit. Chantel Cameron, referring to Katie Taylor, said she's not taking the trilogy. Chantel said that she feels like months have been wasted from her career, as much as she wanted the trilogy for selfish reasons. For the fact that she wanted to fight for my belts, it would have been so good for women's boxing and kept women's boxing on the rise. In the title here it says she's run, referring to Katie. Well, they're organising the rematch for Katie Taylor against Amanda Serrano in Las Vegas, in the Sphere, that's the arena. Looking at it with modern day boxing in mind, where they fight so infrequently. Okay, Cameron took Taylor's unbeaten record early last year. Katie came back, avenged the loss in November. Both fights were for Cameron's super lightweight belts. I believe she was undisputed. For them to go into a third fight when they fight so infrequently in this era, I'm not sure. If they were fighting 4 to even 3 times a year, then they could mix up the opponents and still have their trilogy. But with Katie winning the second fight, she would obviously probably be less enthusiastic to take a third fight with Cameron. And Cameron, taking the first L of her career and the loss still fresh in her memory, she wants get back automatically. But Katie, 35 years of age, same age as Amanda Serrano, are probably coming to the end of their careers. And this rematch is happening just at the right time. The first fight, I believe, was in 2022 at the MSG, and it was a classic. In my opinion, that's Taylor Serrano is the better fight for women's boxing right now than the trilogy. I don't see why Chantelle doesn't take another fight, and she'd been first in line to get the winner of Taylor versus Serrano. Cameron versus Serrano will likely be for Katie's lightweight titles, but it wouldn't be a problem for Katie to jump back up 140 to defend the super lightweight titles against Cameron. Cameron take another fight, keep herself relevant, keep herself active. The rubber match will be even bigger. She may even be fighting Amanda Serrano, who knows. So in February, old Nutjob piped up from the WBC and was talking about increasing the number of judges to adjudicate Alexander Usyk versus Tyson Fury, undisputed heavyweight title. Today he said the proposal is there and we're going to have discussions, but in reality it is hard to make changes in boxing. There is resistance to change and heavy comfort in leaving things as they are and being traditionalists, even though we have seen many fights with split decisions in the last 6 months and high caliber judges making 116-112 for one fighter and 116-112 for the other last weekend. The reason for having 6 judges is to have more information. The more judges there are, the less possibility of bad scoring. That is the reality. If 4 or 5 out of 6 see one winner, then it is more concrete than a split 3. The thing is though, right, you know what I mean, it's a boxing match and you score what you see. You either vet the judges correctly, or you could have 12 judges and get corruption. Throwing more judges at the topic does what? That's what I'm not convinced about. Today's metaphor is the phrase, throwing money at a problem when you haven't explored more logical, practical solutions to solve the problem. And why this fight here? Why this fight? In the most significant fight in boxing since 1999. Why this fight here? Shouldn't there be some experimentation? And I'm not saying go fuck up some fighters who don't have the standing of Tyson Fury or Alexander Usyk. I'm not saying that. But there has to be a way that you experiment this on a not so high profile platform as this one here. The principle for the fight will be that each organization will appoint one judge or referee and will go through a process that both camps will have a say and a veto, and then a process to the final panel. There will be no British and no Ukrainian judges for the fight. This thorough selection process should ensure that everyone is happy with the judges, assuming that the Tyson versus Usyk fight goes the distance and scorecards are needed at all. You know, the whole there's no British, no Ukrainian judges, is that to lessen the opportunity of bias? Doesn't make sense, you know, like, if that's the case, just get a British judge and a Ukrainian judge. Get one of each, and then get one neutral. And this is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter if there's a British or Ukrainian judge. It wouldn't matter if there's 3 Ukrainian judges or 3 British judges if they've been vetted properly. In the UK, up until, I think, the 80s, apart from world title fights, and I think some European, but at one stage, even European title fights, perhaps if there was a British title involved in the contest as well, a British and European title fight, one judge. The referee would be the only one to score the fight. When you look back, you think, well, how do you score the fight? Look out for all the fouls while you're constantly moving, staying in tandem with the timekeeper, etc. But that's how they did it. But even so, I'd be more comfortable with one judge, the referee, scoring the fight, and he was vetted thoroughly, and not saying you can guarantee no corruption, but at least he was vetted thoroughly, and, you know, we all agree that it's a decent choice. I'd rather that than 6 or 5 dodgy judges. WBC just have to inject their fucking shit like the opportunists they are.